On February 14, 2025, U.S. Vice President Vance sent shockwaves through the international community. Speaking to the Wall Street Journal, Vance stated the U.S. was considering deploying troops to Ukraine. This unprecedented move was contingent on Russia's willingness to negotiate a peaceful resolution to the ongoing conflict. Vance emphasized the need for good-faith negotiations from Moscow. He stressed the potential for increased economic sanctions against Russia. The timing of Vance's statement was significant. It came just hours before his scheduled meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky at the Munich Security Conference. The statement immediately fueled speculation about a possible shift in U.S. policy. The potential deployment of U.S. troops to Ukraine marked a dramatic escalation in the West's response to Russian aggression. Vance's words echoed the Biden administration's commitment to Ukrainian sovereignty. However, the possibility of direct military intervention raised serious concerns. The potential for a wider conflict between NATO and Russia loomed large. The situation remained tense, with global leaders watching closely for Russia's response. Understanding Russia's position is crucial to navigating this complex geopolitical landscape. In June 2024, Russian President Vladimir Putin outlined his demands for a ceasefire in Ukraine. Putin's proposition included several non-negotiables. First, Ukraine must renounce any aspirations of joining NATO. Second, Ukrainian forces must withdraw from regions claimed by Russia. Furthermore, Putin demanded the demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine. This demand was widely seen as an attempt to undermine Ukrainian sovereignty. Putin also insisted on Ukraine adopting a neutral stance in international affairs. Finally, he called for the lifting of all sanctions against Russia. These demands were met with resistance from Ukraine and its Western allies. Critics argued that Putin's proposal amounted to a complete capitulation by Ukraine. The international community remained committed to finding a diplomatic solution. However, the vast chasm between Russia's demands and the West's position presented a formidable obstacle. Vice President Vance's hawkish stance on Ukraine stood in stark contrast to other voices within the U.S. administration. President Trump, in a surprising move, announced his intention to pursue immediate peace negotiations with Russia. This announcement followed a phone call between Trump and Putin. Trump's eagerness to engage with Putin raised eyebrows in Washington and abroad. Adding fuel to the fire, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth publicly questioned the U.S.'s commitment to European and Ukrainian security. Hegseth suggested that non-American troops should be responsible for policing any peace agreement in Ukraine. His comments further exposed the deep divisions within the Trump administration. These conflicting messages from Washington generated considerable confusion and concern. Allies questioned the U.S.'s reliability as a security partner. The lack of a unified front within the U.S. government only emboldened Putin. The internal discord threatened to undermine any efforts to achieve a peaceful resolution in Ukraine. Across the Atlantic, European leaders reacted with a mixture of apprehension and frustration to the developments in Washington. French President Emmanuel Macron, a vocal critic of Russia's actions in Ukraine, expressed deep concern over President Trump's approach. He described Trump's return to the White House as an electroshock for Europe. Macron stressed the urgent need for a stronger and more unified European Union. He called for increased investment in European defense capabilities. The French president also emphasized the importance of involving Ukraine directly in any peace negotiations. He cautioned against any agreement that amounted to a surrender to Russia. The situation in Ukraine exposed the fragility of European security. The possibility of the U.S. scaling back its commitment to NATO had sent shockwaves through the alliance. European leaders found themselves at a crossroads. They faced the daunting task of navigating a complex geopolitical landscape while grappling with internal divisions and an increasingly assertive Russia.